Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist and I own 54 units of real estate. So today I want to talk about what I do when I have a lot on my plate and I'm feeling overwhelmed. Because it's a reason that I've been having recently as I've gained a lot of enlightenment and I finally kind of built a 5-year plan to help me and my wife retire. So, I'm on year 8 of year 10 of my real estate journey. And why 10 years is because it takes at least 10 years of suck, of stress, of feeling broke to finally feel the benefits of real estate. That's a message conveyed a lot by people who invest in real estate long term. It's 10 years of suck. 10 years if you're fast, 15 years if probably more realistic. So I think I'm on the track of 10 years. That's what I hope, but we'll see. So, obviously when you first start your real estate journey, you just try to buy as much real estate as you can. Good deal, bad deal, you just want to get deals. And then once you've bought a lot of deals, you realize what deals you like, what deals you don't like, what deals you want to sell. And, you learn as you go, right? So a lot of times with real estate, it's a lot of self-education. It's a lot of trial by error. And you're going to make mistakes. And sometimes mistakes will cost you money. Some mistakes will cost you a lot of stress. And some will cost you both, right? Some will cost you both headache and stress and no money and lose money. But anyways, I kind of been laying out a 5-year plan for myself. And, this is probably the most clarity I've gotten, but it's just like so many steps to do. And it can feel very overwhelming, like being honest, right? I work full time. I try to maintain my physical health. I try to enjoy my DINK lifestyle, so dual income, no kids. So try to go out when I can, go to restaurants, go to concerts, do activities, typical millennial stuff, but basically live life because, this is a limited time I have before kids, and things will be different once you have kids. And some things will be better, some things will be worse. But free time and quietness, it's probably not going to be existent once you have a kid. So, I've been trying to lay my 5-year roadmap, and basically I think the first piece that we're gonna have to do is we want to refinance our primary mortgage. It's a $50K loan, 6.5% interest rate, 30-year term. We pay $5,500 a month for our mortgage, and at that $5,500 a month, only $700, $800 goes to principal pay down. So we don't make much of a dent because it's a 30-year loan. So I've been getting quotes from Charles Schwab, which outsources to Rocket Mortgage, but because I'm part of Charles Schwab, I get a discount. So what I'm looking to do is refinance to a 20-year term. Interest rate is roughly around 5.375 to 5.25. I got quoted 5.375, but the Federal Reserve is meeting end of this month in October. So I'm hoping if they make cuts, interest rates will go down to maybe closer to 5. But in any case, conceptually, whether it's 5 to 5.375, it's only a $200 difference between the two. My payment, assuming, so if I refinance from a 30-year term to a 20-year term, from 6.5% to, let's just call it 5.25%, my payment is going to go from $5,500, and it's going to increase slightly to $5,700 a month. So my payment goes up. But at that $5,700, my principal pay down is $2,000 a month. And then the rest is interest. So $2,000 goes to principal pay down, which is a lot compared to $800 on my current loan. So I'm increasing my principal pay down by $1,200 a month for an additional $200 extra. So this is where you can see it's lucrative. So yes, my payment is a little bit more, but a lot more of my payment goes to principal pay down. Well, this truck just cut me off. Welcome to LA. Truck driving like his life depends on it. Yellow truck too. So basically like I said, my payment is $5,700 a month, which is increased from $5,500, but at that $5,700, $2,000 goes to principal pay down, and $4,700 goes to, or sorry, $3,700 goes to interest payment. So it's a lot accelerated. And So that's a move that we want to make. If we want to make additional payments, we could throw in our $500 on top of that. So maybe we're all in for $6,200 because we want to pay off our primary residence faster, right? So that's probably the first move that we have to make. And in order to get to that point too, I think the maximum loan amount is about $820K, and my current loan is $840K. So I have to put an additional $20,000 out of my pocket to pay down that loan, right? So, I have to put $20,000 in my pocket to pay down the loan. I got to get the escrow account funded, right? So I got to prepay some property tax, prepay some insurance, prepay some interest. So you're going to put, I think they quoted me like another $10,000 in the deal, but that's just money I'm going to pay anyways. And then on top of that, I need to pay about $3,800 in terms of my cost for the loan. So the real cost is about $3,800. And once I refinance out of Freedom Mortgage, then I'll get a check back for that escrow amount. So it's kind of a wash in that sense. So that's probably the first move that I'm going to make, and it's going to put us, roughly about $40,000 in the hole. So, we're not in the strongest cash position right now because I just bought, basically 2 new constructions cash doing my lazy burr. And, I just got back my results from my lazy burr. So ends up that I have to leave around $30,000 each deal because they didn't appraise as high as I thought it would. I was hoping it would appraise for around $330K, but it appraised at $307K, which is what the original price was. So I bought these for about $260 all in cash. So when I do my cash out refinance, I'm doing 75% of $306K, which is roughly around, I think $230 is my loan, but I'm all in for $260, so I'm leaving $30,000 in the deal. So, I'm basically gonna have to pull out some money and then use it to buy another deal, right? So I pull out $230, and I'm gonna put another $30,000 to then basically buy the next one all cash, and then I pull out that one, I leave $30,000 in the deal as well. So after all is said and done, I'm probably gonna have to leave have money in the deal. Oh, sorry, that motorcyclist was going crazy, man. So many crazy drivers in LA. Oh my God, so crazy. But anyways, I have to, put some money in the deal. So when I buy my next deal, like, let's just say I put $230 in, I have to put another $30,000 out of my pocket to close that next deal. So, because of that, it actually makes sense not to refinance just yet. Like, we want to kind of wait the game. Maybe or what we could do is, maybe we could. I mean, I might stretch just a little thin and make our reserves a little small. But anyways, we got to put money in that. We got to put $30,000 more to close on the next deal. And then we got to basically put another almost $20,000 to pay on other loan. So we might be in a poor cash position. So it might not be ideal. But like I said, we can play the waiting game for the refinance. And then eventually I'm going to, my 2 new properties are called Jack and Jill. So Jack's the first one. So I'm in the process of pulling money out of Jack right now. And then Jill, I'm expected to close on Jill on mid to end of November. And then once I put money in Jill, I'm probably gonna leave my money there for a while, because I don't need the money just yet. And then once I need money from Jill, and I'm gonna need money from Jill to pay for my ADUs, right? So I'm gonna need money from Jill to pay for my 2 ADUs that I wanna build. But the moment I sign the contract for my ADU, it's 6 months from that date. 6 months. Sorry, I'm all over the place. My brain's so scattered today, as you can tell. But 6 months from the day I sign the contract, that's when I really need the money, right? So at that point, if I were to do my ADUs, I'd have $200,000 in cash left over after all my real estate stuff. And then I have to finance through line of credit $225K for all-in cost of roughly $425K, which is what I anticipate. And then at that point, our cash should be wiped out. And once it's like finished and it's rented out, we can basically start making cash flow to down pay down that line of credit, right? But that line of credit of $225K at 8% interest is roughly gonna be about $1,500 a month. And I can rent both units out for $6,200, so I'm gonna cash flow $4,700, so I'm gonna use that money to pay down that loan as well, right? So that's another move that we're gonna do. And then on top of all this, I'm trying to sell my 20 unit and probably gonna do a 1031 exchange, right? So a lot of things going on, right? And as you saw, I'm very scatterbrained because so much going on. I'm working full time, looking at doing a refinance and waiting for the interest rates to be the right time. Probably do that first. I'm doing a cash out refinance of Jack, my property in Huntsville, Alabama, and then I need to then buy Jill. And then once Jill is bought, I'm gonna leave my money there for a while. So that will be kind of phase one of what I'm doing. And then my 20 unit, like you said, I don't know, I could sell it as fast as like, I can get an offer next week and sell it in 3 months after that, or it can take me a year, right? But depending on which, I'm assuming a year. But once I sell that, I need to 1031 exchange that and go buy more properties as well, or pay some taxes, right? However I wanna skin that cat. Or do a combination where I 1031 exchange some of it and I pay taxes on the rest, right? So it's not the end of the world either way. So from there, I basically am gonna start building my ADUs and then pay that off, right? So that's kind of my plan. So like a lot of moving pieces, a lot of clarity that we just got. Like my wife was super stressed about it last night. You know, I'm super stressed about it. So it's something that we try to break it down in small bite-sized pieces. So like, what's the next step that we need to do? So honestly, now that I'm thinking about it and getting more clarity, we're almost at the point of pulling out money out of Jack, right? And I'm gonna try to delay it because Jill is gonna basically close. When is Jill gonna close? Jill is gonna close mid to end of November. So basically that has to go first. So my 2 properties need to go first, right? I gotta basically finish financing, pull out the money in one, pay for the other. That phase is done. Then let's say that's end of November, that's done. Hopefully interest rates drop down to closer to 5% at that time. So I can do a refinance on my 20 or my home. And hopefully by then I would have saved some money, more money, right? Because I work at W2 still. And after that's done, I'm thinking quarter 1, quarter 2 of 2026, I'm probably gonna sign the contract for my ADU. It's gonna be about $420K for 2 ADUs I'm gonna build. That convert the garage, and then I'm gonna build a 3-bedroom. And then, I don't know, like between all of that, probably gonna hopefully sell my 20 unit faster than not, and then use that money to 1031 exchange into something else. You know, I can just pay taxes and use that to pay off my ADU and be done with it. And be done with everything, right? And then do that move, right? So a lot of moving pieces, but you just gotta do it one step at a time, right? And then like what I do is like when I'm just like scatterbrained and all over the place, I jot everything down on a Word doc, a Google Doc that I share with me and my wife, so that I write the plan so I can remember the plan, right? Because it's all in my mind, but it's nice when you just put it onto paper and it takes it off your mind. So you think more clearly, you think more sharply, and then you can like ease it off your mind. You know you don't have to remember it anymore. But so many moving pieces right now, so you just try to take it one step at a time, right? So I'm sharing this to remind myself, but also to give you some value, because this is the shit that happens, right? Like on top of all this, I have, you know, one tenant that, you know, we're working on a payment plan for her, but if she doesn't pay and do anything, we have to send the district attorney on her. So going through that, and then, you know, obviously, you know, other baseline of my other properties. So, you know, things can pop up really fast, and it always happens all at the same time, right? Like shit always hits the fan all at the same time. So knowing that, I'm trying to like take it easier, like not do as much. And then like, it's blowing away my shiny object syndrome, where like, you know, before I used to be looking at more deals in Lennar, and I'm just like, dude, I have no more capacity whatsoever to look at any more deals. I don't even want to think about it. And I might be buying deals, because if I do a 1031 exchange on my 20 unit, I'm gonna buy more deals. So I need to slow down, right? I'm always used to going like 100 miles per hour, and I need to slow down, right? That's my problem. I always go too fast. I don't slow down. I don't take it easy. And now I need these things to stabilize. But in a weird way, it's kind of freeing in the sense of knowing that I just need to do these things, right? Sell my 20 unit, 1031 exchange, refinance my primary whenever interest rates are lower, and then, you know, Jack and Jill, that'll be done soon, and you know, basically go forward with my ADUs, right? So it's just a matter of when I do it. I know I'm gonna do it, it's just a matter of when am I gonna do it. And you can break it up into stepwise pieces to make it more manageable for yourself, right? So I know what to do, I know how I need to do it, I know how much money is allocated, I just need to know when's the best time to do it for us, right? So we'll see. Like I said, I want to finish these 2 loans first, and then we'll refinance our primary residence, and then hopefully by then my 20 unit is sold, And then once that's sold, I mean, to focus on doing a 1031 exchange for that one. And then after that, hopefully Q1, Q2 of 2026, lock in the ADU and get that started, because it takes a year to like finish building it and all that good stuff, right? So yeah, just try to take it one step at a time. And sometimes you gotta just take your mind off of it to get some clarity, to get you the best idea. So that's what I'm gonna try to do now, right? So I'm off work now, gonna rest my mind, enjoy some TV, and have a nice beer, and take it easy, right? So everything is balanced, and you always don't need to go fast. My problem is I always go too fast. So anyway, sorry for listening. Sorry I was distracted. Obviously scattered brain today, but I wanted to make something raw, unfiltered, to show what it's like going through the grind of owning 54 units, of working full time, and trying to plan the next 5 years and all the moves I need to make, right? And I'm making a lot of moves right now, right? Like, just bought 2 homes, gonna refinance them, wanna do 2 ADUs, wanna refinance my primary, and wanna sell my 20 unit. So everything's hitting at the same time. So we'll see. But once this is all done, like, I'll be a lot more optimized than what I am right now. And I'll be very well on my way into financial freedom. And, still might want to, after all this is done, sell one of my single family homes, and use that as a lump sum to basically pay off my primary residence or pay down a lot of it. And at that point, there's no more mortgage. So now I'm not obligated to this, $6,000 a month mortgage. So that's another step that I'm about to do, but not as much of a rush. So anyways, hopefully you found value. Let me know what questions you have. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to join my school community on a free trial, you want coaching, you want mentorship, you want to send me an email, you want my newsletter, you want a landlord insurance quote through Steadily, you want my contact to Lending One, click on my link tree. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe. I hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.